Hi, and welcome to this week's vlog, where Debbie and I are going to be talking about life is not a bank, or sorry, you are not a bank, is what it is. So I know, Deb, you've done some mindset realizations in your bookkeeping business around your not being a bank.
Yes, it was a long and difficult lesson for me to learn when I was working with Peter Cook as my business coach, where what I discovered actually was one of the biggest revelations I had was all around the money and asking people for money. And when I dug down into the background around that, I discovered that I actually had a tendency towards that my whole life. Even if I bought a gift for the family and everyone was supposed to chip in, I didn't say, hang on, you haven't given me $20 for that present. I would just let it go. For whatever reason, I just didn't like asking people for money. And what I discovered in my business is that whatever baggage you've got, that's not, because it's not really helpful, and people just forget, they just need to be reminded, but all of that is not really helpful, but you bring that baggage into your business as well, because you are your business. So whatever baggage you've got, you will bring into business. So what that translated to for my clients was, if I do a job, send them the invoice at the end of the month, and they wouldn't pay by my due date, and I'd have a demand and all this sort of things. And I realized that what I was doing was avoiding asking them for money. And I had some clients that I often use this quote, they offered me practically their firstborn child. They were begging me, if you could just hold off for another week, I will be able to pay you next week. I've got some money coming in. And I'd go, okay, all right, I'm a nice person, I don't want to be nasty, yes, but what I realized was that is so unprofessional. And it was the realization happened when I was working, the very first engagement I had with Peter Cook, when I was signing the engagement letter for him to be my business coach. He said, right, this is how much it's going to cost. I set that up by direct debit, and that comes out on the 1st of every month, and that's for the current month. And I just looked at him like this, and I said, wow, I could never do that with my clients. And he said, do what? It was so professional and just a business transaction. He didn't even think about it. That just makes sense that you would set up all of this, set the expectation right from the start. And I said, well, getting them to, this is the engagement letter and we're setting up direct debit. And I said, I could never do that. And that was the beginning of my journey of realizing that was really unprofessional. And then I coined the phrase, you're not their mother and you're not their bank. So it's disrespectful, it's unprofessional for any clients, and for you to allow any clients to treat you like their bank and to pay you when they can afford, when the money's in the bank. It's wrong on so many levels.
Yeah, that's really great advice. And I know for myself, I had a really hard time in invoicing and the guilt of saying, will they pay this? And I'd leave it for weeks and weeks and months. There'd be 2 or 3 months before I got to invoice some clients, and just the panic, that they're going to leave me because, I'm not invoicing them. They've got a big bill, and, what am I doing? So it wasn't until, I started to force myself, discipline myself. Every week I would do some invoicing. Whatever work that I had finished that week, I would invoice. And then it would reach out to every 2 weeks, I would do an invoice. And then I would start doing fixed fees around some of my services. So bring in fixed fees and make it a set figure for certain clients. And then I moved on to putting it on to a direct debit. So exactly what, Pete was doing. Here's your engagement letter. Here's the direct debit form. This is how it's going to happen. And I went through that exercise with one of my prospects, and we'd done a scoping exercise. And I said, okay, here is the engagement letter. This is what I'm going to do for you. This is the price. This is my direct debit. And he was all fine until he had to sign a direct debit. And he said, but I don't know if I've got money in the bank. I don't think I can do that. And I thought, well, I get to choose then. Do I accept that client and say, okay, I'm going to go along and, perhaps not be paid? Or I could say, you are not my ideal client. Yeah. I am not going to be engaged in this relationship if you don't take what I do seriously to pay me. So we parted ways. And that's, one of the things, we do have to put our big girl pants on and make those big decisions to say, this is not okay. And as you say, I love that you are not their mother and you are not their bank. And it really hits home. It's like it's affecting your family income, or money that's, going into your family, because you're allowing your clients to hold on to it until they're ready. So it is setting those expectations at the start, and making it really clear, making it an easy process for them to sign up and go through it. But that's the practicalities of it. And, this is a business. You are in business. And that's what we need to remember.
Absolutely. I could talk about this for an hour, but
yeah.
I'm very passionate about it. It really is an important thing. And if you think about, you're trying to you want to be a nice person, and they're lovely people and all that sort of thing. It's just not professional. So if you need to convince yourself, it's not about whether you're being nice or nasty or a hard-nosed business person, because none of that is true. It's you running your business professionally, and everyone needs to be doing that and take that lesson home with you.
Yeah, you'd expect your clients to be doing exactly the same, treating them professionally, not letting their debtors not pay them.
Exactly.
So we did actually discuss this for an hour last week in our power hour. So watch out for that recording in the Successful Bookkeeper Australia group, where Sharon, myself and Helen joined in the conversation around all about You're Not a Bank, and the mindset of it, and the practicalities of it, and how you can get around, how you can solve those issues that are coming up for you. So look out for that. And thank you so much for listening today. We'll see you around the community somewhere.
Bye-bye.
Bye for now.